All right, there might not be a better way to get more consistent with your workouts than to be able to do them at home. And there might not be a better time to outfit your home gym than when the gear is on sale. I'm talking about Black Friday sales. So Jake from Garage Gym Experiment is back on the podcast today to help us figure out what we need and where to get it this holiday season. Welcome back, Jake.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, man. So if any of you have not heard episode number 74, you got to go back and listen to that. Jake and I went through everything you need to think about when setting up your home gym. So go back and listen to that episode after you listen to this one. So today we're talking, though, about saving money on buying this stuff. So personally, Jake, what is the best Black Friday deal you've ever gotten in your years of buying gym equipment?
I can't say that I've ever really taken advantage of a huge deal. You always see good deals on, not always, but before at least these past few years, you'd typically find some really good deals on racks or bars, or dumbbells.
So you're saying you pay full price for everything?
I'm saying I haven't taken advantage of the best deals ever, but I have bought like hundo pricing. I've taken advantage of the hundo pricing from Rogue.
Yeah.
I saved a little bit on a barbell that popped up on sale that I wanted. So, but nothing too crazy.
We got lucky, and when Blakely was building out her CrossFit affiliate, it just so happened that it timed around Black Friday, and we scored all kinds of stuff. I mean, basically 3/4 of the gym was bought on Black Friday that year that she did that. And I think the biggest score was an entire set of Rogue kettlebells, 4 of each weight at, I don't know, I want to say it was like 25% off and free shipping, which was pretty substantial considering the weight of all that stuff. That was a pretty killer deal. I don't think they've repeated that deal since then.
Yeah, I don't think you'll find any of those deals this year.
Yeah, but we do want to talk about what is available out there. In the last episode, we talked about like when you're planning out what to buy, you got to think about what your space is like. So I want everybody to kind of be in that mindset as we go through this list, but not only what your space is like now, but one of the things we talked about was how people end up regretting that they didn't kind of plan out their future space better. So as we talk about this equipment, think about how you might expand the size of your home gym also, because maybe we're going to mention some things that right now you don't think that you want, but you might in the future as your gym expands.
Yeah, I would typically recommend that you don't go out and buy something that you don't have space for yet. None of these deals are so mind-blowing that you should stock up on it now, unless you're pretty certain that you're going to get it, or use it in the future. With that being said, it is the best time of the year to buy, and just with the recent pricing and increases and a lot of controversy about, how, not to get political, but inflation and that sort of thing. It does not appear that prices are going to be going down anytime soon. So just keep that in mind too. Yeah. So while the deals might be 5, 10, or 15% off, they could very well be more expensive at the beginning of next year.
So. Yeah. So even just, you got 2 things going for you buying right now is you're buying when prices are probably going to go up anyway, and you're buying at potentially a little bit of a discount because of the time of year. So
yep.
Good advice. So let's start with weight. You're going to get strong. You're going to need some weight at some point in time. So let's talk about things like dumbbells, kettlebells, and plates. What are you seeing out there in those categories right now?
Right now, you can count on Rogue to have hundo pricing on pretty much everything. So
Tell
that
everybody
is,
what that is.
yeah, hundo pricing is basically if you buy X amount of weight, for example, for plates, it's like 250 pounds. You do get some sort of discount. It's not huge, but it puts it right in line with, let's just say, what some other other maybe less known company is selling bumper plates for, kettlebells for. So with hundo pricing, if you want to buy Rogue, this is the time to do it because they haven't had hundo pricing all year. And then Rogue also has, so Rogue, if you're looking for the best dumbbells, or, I guess I should say another good place if you want to buy a lot is to take advantage of a Frey Fitness deal, which is 20% off everything.
Wow.
So Frey Fitness, 20% off everything. It's really only worth it if like I said, if you're buying a lot, compared to some of these other companies. I would honestly say though, if you're looking for weight, the best place to get it is still going to be Rep Fitness. If you're buying a normal amount of weight, Rep dumbbells are not discounted right now, but there's, even after like checking multiple prices, they're still the best option out there in terms of price.
Interesting.
Other than maybe some other fringe companies, or if you really searched. But yeah, it's still better than Rogue, and it's right up there with the Frey Fitness deal. If you're looking for something like a 5 through 35 pound dumbbell package, the Strength Depot has a decent price set for those as well. So that might be worth checking out.
You made me think of something like how if you really, really search online, you might be able to find like a slightly cheaper deal on something. But in my experience, be careful because they might fire up the old factory in China once you place the order, and you might be getting it this time next year. So stick with the big brands.
That's what I typically recommend, unless you know them. If you haven't heard of them, then I wouldn't buy from them.
Right.
I mean, there are plenty of other smaller companies that are doing good work as well, but just on the safe end. And some of these companies might be a little closer to you, so you have a better knowledge. But if you're in Indiana like I am, and there's some random company in Washington selling bumper plates at a discount, it just seems a little sketchy. So
yeah, we talked in the last episode about what kind of weights or the increments of plates to buy. Why don't you recap for people what your general recommendation is on which weights are going to give them the biggest bang for the buck when they go buy pairs?
Yeah, I think if you're ready to buy a decent amount of bumper plates, or enough to bumper or iron to go all in on the home gym, or let's say you have nothing, I would say try and save some money with a set. So if you can find a set that companies are selling rather than just individual pairs, that should do the trick. But I mean, it also just depends on how strong you are. But I think something like a 370 pound set of bumper plates is a good start for someone. You can also buy additional pairs if you need a little bit more, if multiple people are working out, or if you like to have several bars open, or if you like to have several bars being used at one time. If you're consistently using more than 370 pounds on your lifts, you're probably like a power lifter, and you should be getting iron, so you can squeeze more onto the bar. So I typically say if you're ready, buy sets. If not, then if you're buying a little bit of weight, you'll most likely want to stick to the companies that have free shipping options, so you can
Yeah.
so you can get the free shipping and not have an extra $75 tacked on. Just,
Yeah.
you know,
That makes sense. All right. So for bumper plates, we're looking at, the Rogue for the hundo pricing. Rep has deals. Frey has deals. We talked about dumbbells being a good price at the Strength Depot and also Rep, and then of course the 20% off with Frey. Have you seen anything out there on kettlebells? If somebody loves kettlebells or is trying to get into kettlebells, any deals out there?
Rogue has the hundo pricing on the kettlebells. Kettlebell Kings has a discount right now, and I believe they'll be having some other companies will definitely be popping up sales actually during Black Friday that I haven't heard
Okay.
about. But I do know that Kettlebell Kings will be having some sort of sale, and also one of the it's going to be one of those sales where the more you buy, the more you save. And yeah, there are a few companies that'll probably have sales on kettlebells. I'm guessing like Fringe Sport will. I doubt Rogue will change their sales, but Rep has been changing their sales each week. So maybe some more kettlebells will be added. Right now,
Okay.
they do have some, but not a ton.
What size kettlebells would you recommend the average male or female pick up if they're trying to get into them this holiday?
It just depends on your experience and your strength. I think typically, like if you're a guy and you are relatively experienced and you want to just pick up one kettlebell, 53-pound might be a nice option. And then women's, I would say 35. What do you
Yep.
say about those? Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. If you want to give yourself some room to grow, I'd say a 53 and a 70 for a male,
Yeah.
and a 35 and a 45 or a 44 for females, and you'll have all kinds of fun with that.
Yeah. Again, I would say don't buy what you're not ready to. Before you go buy something heavy, make sure you can handle something. Yeah.
Right. Good advice. So we talked about the hundo pricing. In your experience, do people get in trouble with the shipping, or is it pretty obvious that the shipping is really going to add up? The reason I bring this up is because a lot of people are looking for everything on Amazon these days, and they're like, "Oh, sweet, some." This was especially true when gear was hard to find, but some 15-pound dumbbells for only $30, and then you find out the shipping is $50 on top of that. Did you kind of see that same thing happening?
So I actually, a little bit before this call, I just double checked. I added a 250-pound set to my cart. Into Indiana, which is right next door, it was only like $30. So not bad, and pretty much better than most shipping options. I would say if you're in, maybe if Rogue's sending to Texas, it might be a little pricier, or California. If you're farther away, I have heard it's more expensive to ship. I would again look for something like a free shipping option from something like Rep Fitness or Fringe
Yeah.
Sport. So again,
my advice would be the companies that are kind of advertising these really low prices per pound, like make sure you do your research and see what the shipping is going to be, because it may turn out to be cheaper just to go with one of these guys that has the free shipping, or like Jake said, the hundo deal from Rogue.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned the Freight Fitness deal is 20%, but it doesn't include the shipping. So if you're going to be buying a set, the upfront cost looks really cheap, and then it'll be a couple $100 for shipping, which will
Right.
ultimately make it the same price as the Rogue bumper plates.
Right.
But if you're going to be buying a rack, dumbbells, bumper plates, and your order is going to be over a couple thousand, you're going to be saving $500 or so, which definitely makes up for the more expensive shipping. But yeah, that's why I added that disclaimer in there.
That's good advice. So everybody pay attention to that. Okay, let's move on to barbells. We need something to put all these weights on. So in case anybody missed the last episode, give us a real quick recap on the difference between power bars, Olympic bars, and just general utility bars.
Yeah, so the biggest difference between the three different bars is going to be the spin. So with an Ollie bar, the spin is going to be rotate the fastest specifically for Olympic weightlifting movements. A multi-purpose bar will have a moderate spin to where it will, you could still do Olympic movements. It may not spin as fast or help you, but it won't disrupt you during deadlifting or benching as much. And then the power bar is going to spin the least. So it's ideal for squat, bench, deadlifts. And then there are also some other differences like neural marks and the knurling aggressiveness will be more
stiffness.
Yeah, the stiffness. So like the knurling will be more aggressive on a power bar than a multi-purpose bar where you're going to want to be doing clean and jerks, so different, a little bit of different characteristics for each bar. If you're to sum it up real quick, if you're just going to be doing squat, bench, and deadlift, a power bar will do the job. If you want to be able to do just a little bit of everything, including CrossFit workouts, a multi-purpose bar will probably be the best option. And then an Olympic bar, if your primary use is going to be try and improve the Olympic movements. So I would say if you're using that for 75% of your lifts or more, get an Ollie bar.
Yep. Good stuff. I would say 99% of the people listening to this could do just great with a all-purpose utility multi-purpose bar. Speaking of that, what deals are you seeing out there on bars, especially these multi-purpose bars?
Yeah, I'd agree. Multi-purpose bar is a very safe option for anybody questioning what to get, and then we'll get the job done. A really good deal on a solid bar is from Lu Zhaozhan. He has his own brand. He's a famous Olympic weightlifter, and he has
is that his website?
Yeah, it's luzhaozhan.com.
Spell that for me.
Ooh, let me pull it up.
I'll definitely put a link to this in the show notes, guys.
It's just
LUXIAO
JUN barbell.com.
Okay.
So the E1.
So what's the deal?
Yeah, the E1 training bar is a really good deal. It is $164 right now. And it's as good of a bar as an Ohio bar. So you have that. Rogue has a good deal on the Excalibur bar, which is a very good multi-purpose bar. Includes a bushing and bearing system. So it's a bar that it's a multi-purpose bar, but it can also do the trick for someone who wants to do a little bit more Olympic weightlifting. Good CrossFit bar. So solid all-around bar there. And then Rogue has
going for.
It's $209. $209 with free shipping.
Okay.
When it's normally, I think, $299. So
wow, that's a great deal.
Yeah. So Excalibur bar, Rep has a couple other. I think that was the best bar on sale, but they have a few others as well. And then Rogue has some really good, not really good, but some rare sales, I would say, on barbells. So you can get a stainless steel Ohio bar, which is a really solid multi-purpose bar that will hold up well in all conditions, since it's stainless steel. They have
You're making me the thing that we never thought about buying stainless steel bars until we have now a completely outdoor space that basically has a roof over it. And all of our bars are oxidizing and rusting. Our Rogue Bella bars, our Rogue Ohio bars, our Rogue, what's the other one? The Echo bar, they're all oxidizing and rusting. So I might be looking into the stainless steel option. How much is it going for?
It's only like $30 off, but it's like $330 compared to like $260 compared to $260 for a non-treated bar, bare steel, something like that.
Yeah, but if it lasts, I mean, you don't have to rebuy it.
Yeah, we've done surveys in the past where is it like we asked the community, is it worth paying extra for a barbell that doesn't rust? And it definitely is, especially like you said, if you're dealing with rust and it's gonna be a seasonal cleaning or like a once a month cleaning that you have to do, which can get kind of old pretty quick.
Right.
Yeah. So Rogue has that deal. They have and they have 5 to 10% off all of their on some of their other primary bars too. So
okay, that's good to know. What about our buddies over at Rep Fitness? Any good bar deals over there?
yeah, all of the kind of similar. I would say that Excalibur was the best deal.
Okay.
The best deal. I really like they have a stainless steel power bar as well. That's something like $50 off.
Okay.
With free shipping, and that's a really solid all around power bar. It's not quite as aggressive as something like the Ohio power bar, so that would be something that's just a good all around bar for somebody. Gladiator bar. And then I would say from Rep 2, the Saber bar, I want to say it's down something only like $10, but at $189 and free shipping, that's also a very good multi-purpose bar.
Minus cool points for Rep for these goofy names for these barbells too, like Excalibur and Saber.
Complicated. Yeah, they're not as well known for their bars, but they're solid.
Yeah.
And then
those are some really good options in each category, really.
Yeah, I would say GetRx has some decent deals on bars as well, and honestly, a lot of these bars are all just pretty much the same with different branding. So
yeah. Well, I think a lot of people get really excited to buy a barbell, and then they realize all they can really do with just a barbell is deadlifts and curls. So
yeah,
you got to buy a rack is what I'm getting at. So let's talk about racks, power racks, squat stands, all that kind of stuff. Give everybody a quick recap like we did in the last episode about the main difference between those three things.
Okay. The squat stand are going to be the most minimal. Typically these will just be 2 posts. You can also get an option with a squat stand with a pull-up bar. So the squat stands will be the cheapest, take up the least space, but you won't get quite as much protection as something like a power rack, which has at least 4 posts. You are squatting within 4 posts and spotter arms, so there's the most safety with a power rack. Power racks are also the most versatile, where you can add a lot of different attachments. So many of these racks nowadays have lat pull down attachments, to where you can also do tricep pull down, like your typical lat pull down. You can add in landmines, the dips will be, you can add dips to just about everything, but they'll be the most secure on a power rack. Won't wobble at all like you might on a squat stand. So we have squat stands with 2 posts, power racks with at least 4. Half rack is going to be a little bit, is kind of like, is in between these two, where they'll have 2 dedicated posts to using as a rack, and then 2 more on the back for storage, which helps weigh it down as well. And then lastly, a fold away rack you can get to help save space, and is something that you can put up against your wall. So it's kind of like a squat stand, but on your wall.
Yep. And in the last episode, we talked about all the disadvantages and advantages of each of those. So if you aren't sure which one's going to suit your needs, go back and listen to that. We won't get into all that here again today, but what deals are you seeing out there on some of the options? I imagine a lot of these same companies are going to be popping up that we talked about, the barbell too.
Yeah. We have some minor deals from Rogue. So if you love the Rogue brand and you want a Rogue rack, this is the best time to buy. You'll typically see these are the best deals you'll find from Rogue, and they have a little bit of everything on sale, all the way from their Rogue Monster power racks with 6 posts, which are down a couple $100, but are still going to be well over $2,000 after purchasing, all the way down to their SML1 squat stands, which will be also a very solid option for somebody who just wants a rack, using 3x3 steel, or 3x3 posts and 11 gauge steel still. And will be able to handle just about anything you throw at it. It's, again, not quite as versatile, but you have a little bit of everything from the squat stands all the way to the big beefy power rack. Rep Fitness has a deal on all of their racks as well. They have some solid squat stands, similar to what I mentioned from Rogue racks with the 3x3 post and 11 gauge steel, compatible with just about any attachment all the way. And then they have their PR4000, PR5000, which are very, very popular racks, are 10% off. So best time to buy from Rep too. And again, Rep might change this up, but it's unlikely they'll take away this deal. So
sometimes during Black Friday in the past, they've released like different colors and things like that too. I know that some of the squat stands that we have, Rogue made a black satin the year that we bought all of our stuff. Do you still see stuff like that where they do special colors and editions?
Yeah. Rep has a clear coat available right now on their PR4000, and those are just beautiful. I know I'm pretty sure Rep's going to release a new barbell this week, some sort of multi-purpose specialty bar, multi-grip specialty bar. But yeah, I haven't.
It kind of sounds like on the racks, it's just like if you know you want to buy a rack, go ahead and buy it now because you're going to save a little bit, but no crazy deals out there.
Right.
You might be able to lump it in with some cheaper shipping if you buy some other stuff from a company.
Exactly. Rep does have a decent deal on a $1,000 home gym package. It's just one of their basic racks with I think it's Saber bar and then quite a bit of plates. So $1,000 rack. Yeah, that's a good option for anyone who just wants to start, get a pretty good start on their home gym. Rep has a few basic benches, but I know we're in the, sorry, I pulled up their site. That's why I'm just browsing.
Well, actually, I forgot to write down benches in my notes. You're going to need a bench probably with your rack also, unless you just want to squat and press.
Yeah.
I know we talked about the Rep. I think it was the 5,000 in our last episode. Is that on sale? Because I know that was a pretty solid choice for a bench.
So I think the best option for most people is who don't want to spend over $500 on a bench is the Rep AB3000. Okay. And that is $299 with free shipping. I doubt that's going to go on sale, but it's an
adjustable bench, right?
It's an adjustable bench, flat to incline and decline. So several options, got a 1,000-pound weight limit. It's just a really solid option. There are a few other off-brand companies that sell something similar, and they sell it for more expensive. So I always recommend the Rep bench here. And they have a couple deals on some basic flat benches. So you can get a decent option for under $130. So if you're not quite ready for an incline, you can get the FB4000 Comp Light Bench for $127 right now, certain colors. So
okay, cool. That's a really good deal. One thing
that is a good deal.
People, if you don't like the idea of picking up your bench and moving it around your gym, look for options that have wheels on them. Some benches have a handle on one end and wheels on the other, which if you're moving it around a lot because you have a small space can kind of come in handy. So pro tip there.
And then one other bench that's on sale, and it's just as good as any of the Rep benches from GetRx is the FID AB2. So this will be a little bit more of a premium bench than the AB3000, but it's in line with some of the premium benches from Rep. And it is more of a beefier option where you do have the ability to it can be used as a decline, and it goes all the way enough to where you can like put your legs up and do sit-ups on it.
Okay.
One of those similar to the zero gap bench from Rep. So
yeah. Okay.
That's a good option that's a good option. And it stores vertically. It's beefy, easy to move around. It's just a really good bench. But even that, it's going to be probably closer to $600 after shipping. Yeah. So not something most people want to spend that much money on.
You're right. People want something sexier than a bench for $600 most of the time.
Right.
Speaking of sexy equipment, you mentioned stuff like pulley machines, and I know we bought a dedicated, lat pull down, high low cable pulley system for our garage that we love. You seen anything out there as far as specialty machines that just looks like too good of a deal to pass up?
Not yet. I would say if you are on the market for a budget specialty machine, Titan Fitness will be the one to probably offer it. They've teased sales starting later this week, so I would be on the lookout for Titan. Okay. And then if you are looking for some decent deals on cardio machines, GetRx has some good options. So they have a rower that is pretty much a Concept 2 rower, just as good. And it's a couple $100 cheaper right now than a Concept 2. They also have an Air Cycle, which is similar to the Bike Erg, and that's going to be a couple $100 cheaper than a Bike Erg at this time as well. So I remember the brands back in the day from GetRx were Zebex. Is that the same brand these are? Zebex brand, yeah.
which starts with an X if you're out there.
Yep.
I'll put a link. Our next door neighbor and friend has a Zebex rower that he really likes. I think I used one in a competition one time. They're definitely calibrated differently than the Concept 2s, but I've never heard anybody complain about them.
No, if you want to save a couple $100, you really want a rower, but you just that little bit extra is a little bit too much. The Zebex is definitely a good option.
Have you noticed if they hold their value?
I have had one for a couple of years and it's still, fine.
So, but are they worth as much when you go to sell them as, because the Concept 2s, they don't go down in value basically.
No, that's a good point. No, they won't hold its value. The Concept 2 brand is so strong that you can have a Concept 2 and sell it 2 years later for like $100 less. It's crazy.
Right. And you'll have 10 people that want to buy it from you.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the bike from GetRx. What about some of the more mainstream stuff like assault bikes, those real fancy True Form $5,000 running machines? You see any deals on those things?
Yeah, Assault has some deals. I can't remember specifically what it is, but Assault, if you want something from Assault, they have deals. The Assault bikes are on sale at Rogue too, so you can check that out. Nothing from True Form yet. Rogue sometimes does sales on the Echo bike. I feel like that's what a lot of people are waiting for. And if they do a sale, it'll probably be a flash sale. So it'll probably be like one day only. And so we'll see.
Yeah, for anybody listening to this doesn't know, the Rogue Echo bike is a fan bike like the Airdynes and the Assault bikes, and then Concept 2 makes the bike erg, which is belt driven, like the same fan system as their rower uses,
right?
Basically.
Yep.
All good options. Just it's a matter of do you live in a cold climate where you're not going to want to do any conditioning outdoors for a season? Maybe an indoor piece of conditioning equipment is a good option for you. The only downside is they take up a decent amount of floor space and they're expensive.
Yeah, like I said, I'm here in Indiana, and once it gets really cold, I typically like to bring in something like a bike or a rower and have that in the house for the winter, at least for a workout or two a week, because sometimes it can just be like we discussed, I think it was before the call, where it takes quite a bit of time to warm the garage, or you just have to have a bulletproof mindset, which you just can't have all the time. So it's nice to have that option to be able to bring something in. So
yeah. What about all the little miscellaneous things that we all love to buy, like knee wraps and lifting straps and belts and fancy shoelaces and things like that? Anybody giving that stuff away with orders right now?
I don't think so. I would check just the Rogue has, if you're looking to buy a few things, Rogue typically has a few of those things you mentioned on their deals page. And if you want to buy a few, then you'll probably get some free shipping out of it or something like that.
Yeah, so that's probably the best advice. You mentioned the deals page. If anybody has ever been to Rogue's page and not noticed, there's a separate tab up at the top that just says deals, I think, and they'll have closeouts and special things. They kind of lump everything that's on sale into that page. So definitely check that out.
Right.
Besides sales, I think we pretty much wrapped it up on things that may or may not be on sale. But since we talked last, have you seen any changes in trends that are kind of closing out this year? Changes in equipment? People, you do a lot of the surveys and stuff, like just kind of where's everybody's mindset at as far as gear right now for home gyms?
Yeah, in terms of mindset, I feel like there's a good amount of people who maybe were younger to the home gym space, and you might have bought some gimmicks. I would say the gimmicks are kind of fading. There's nothing really, like, stick to the basics. That's what you're going to be using the most. And then really just buy quality, because that's what's going to hold its value over time. If you're buying just to save some money, there's a good chance that these things will ultimately cost more over time if you need to replace them. So I think that would be the biggest thing that a lot of people have learned over these last 2 years, since I've been doing it too. I would say I have I've bought a lot of different gym equipment for review purchases and received it. And it's really the basics that are still used the most, like the rack and the barbell and plates and kettlebells. And then the more the cardio pieces of equipment, if you can save up for those rather than trying to cheat your way through. So
you could pretty much take that advice that you gave and apply it to training principles, to nutrition principles, financial principles in life.
Yes. Buying a car, buying clothes. Yes.
Stick with the basics, be patient, but be as buy the best quality that you can afford, and just be consistent in the basics. It just applies across the board.
Yeah. That's what I feel like going through this call. It was like, you can save a little bit. Just don't try and save too much on things you haven't heard of.
Right. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Right.
Well, I think we hit some good stuff there. There's a couple of things I want to buy this year, but I got to check with Santa Claus first.
Yeah.
But I wanted everybody to know before we close out that since we talked last, you launched your own podcast. So tell everybody where they can find that.
Yeah, so we're a few episodes in. If you're unfamiliar with what Garage Gym Experiment does, well, one of the primary things that we do is survey the community each week. We have a number of different surveys that we ask seasonally, or hot topics, or just looking to get as much knowledge about the issues and just details about home gym owners, and spread the word, whether it's just home gym owners listening, or gym equipment companies listening, or programmers. We post that. For the last few years, we've been posting it onto the blog each week, and have a decent amount of subscribers, but we're taking it to audio, and we're doing like a weekly show talking about the results, my buddy Adam and I, and we're 3 episodes in, and you can find that at the Garage Gym Experiment podcast on wherever you listen.
Yeah.
So a few episodes in.
Status.
Yeah. Few episodes in, and we're just kind of learning as we go, and
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, evolve it into it'll just evolve over time.
And then of course your website is Garage Gym Experiment, as is your Instagram account.
Right.
I recommend any of our clients listening to this that have those sweet garage gyms to at Jake on, tag him on Instagram when you post pictures of your gym, so he can check them out and tell you what you're doing right and tell you what you're doing wrong.
Yeah. And if I think it'll inspire others, we'll be happy to share it.
Yeah. Good deal, man. Well, I appreciate your time as always. And congrats on starting the podcast. Hope everybody goes and checks it out.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right. We'll do this again. Have a good day.
All right.